Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 97. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to continue the arc of the OG Ravnica with Experiment Krap deck. Now hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What's going down?
Whole ton is going down. Is this the halfway mark, or was in between this episode and last episode the halfway mark of OG Ravnica arc?
I think this is the third list, making it past the halfway mark.
Okay, so we're at the 75% mark of the arc of OG Ravnica.
Upon the completion of this episode, if you don't count the YouTube content.
So I guess we should.
I suppose. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yes, we will. But that's what we're doing right now. We're going to move ahead into the Simic Guild. We're going to talk +1/+1 counters and the giant purple piece of crap with buttholes on it himself, Experiment Kraj.
Giant purple piece of crap with buttholes all over him.
We've definitely looked at the art several times after saying that to make sure that we're not steering you guys wrong, and we are not.
You know, I'm looking at it one last time with... Yeah.
If you look at the part with the little dark circle around it, that is almost as much of a butthole as the one that's on Corpse Connoisseur.
Yeah.
And I'm never letting that go. That is a butthole. Whoever wrote that, drew that, whoever approved it at Wizards, you put a butthole on a card, I hope you're proud of yourself. Because I'm proud of you.
This is what I think. Butthole tribal.
We could do it. And now that you've suggested it, I feel like we have to do it.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that CCO Nation can send in to us. I don't want to go through cards with an eye for buttholes. I just don't want that. I don't want to Google it. I don't want to look it up. That's not something that I'm into.
That'd be hard to find on a search engine, hey?
Yeah, somebody needs to make like a new syntax type thing where you can just like type in like card has butthole on it, and then like all the butthole cards come up. Or like I said, we were talking off air, ladies looking left tribal, or guys in a chair, or whatever. Yeah,
it's a thing. Although I think if that was a kind of a searchable engine thing, I would be nervous.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it'd be like Urban Dictionary. People can make their own submissions to what they interpret the art of cards looks like.
That'd be kind of neat, actually.
That would be cool,
especially with some of the old arts, like Goblin Soothsayer, or even the current Back to Basics. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the new Back to Basics is. My eyes aren't very good, so I can't really see the picture too good, but I have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah, that new Back to Basics. Did you get one yet?
I did.
Who drew that?
My man Tyrese Nielsen.
Tyrese Nielsen. Shout out. I think he's playing this Sunday in the playoffs for the NFL.
Oh, the team made it? That's awesome.
Yeah, Tyrese Nielsen and the...
He plays for the Chargers, right?
Sure. Excellent. Okay, Experiment Krap. Let's give a teaser, then we'll do social media coordinates, a couple other housekeeping items.
Okay, Experiment Krap, or Kraj, if you will, is a Ooze Mutant 4/6 for 2 green, blue. Experiment Kraj has the activated abilities of each other creature with a +1/+1 counter on it, and it has tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature.
So 4/6 for 6. Ooze Mutant. I feel like if this was in Ravnica Allegiance, the set that we're leading up to at the end of this arc, or kind of, I feel like this would have like 75 more creature types now than when it was printed in, I think, Dissension, right?
Yes. I would go as far as to say, if this card was printed in the new set, it would probably have all creature types. Just because.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll bet it would.
Huh. Like my boy Misform Ultimus.
Precisely like that.
That would be cool to add green to that deck, let me tell you that. Anyways, social media coordinates?
Social media coordinates. We are CCO Podcast and CCO Brando on Twitter. We are CCO Podcast on tappedout.net. That's where you can see this week's list, last week's list, next week's list, and any other list that we talk about throughout the course of the show. We're commandercookout@gmail.com. That's where you can send us love mail, hate mail, show suggestions, favorite memories from the past almost 100 episodes of the show, but no nudes.
Ooh, yeah. 100th anniversary memorable butthole nudes. Don't do any of what I said.
Correct. You can also find us anywhere better podcasts are found. That includes iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all those places. You can find us on flipsidegaming.com, where you can use our special promo code CCOFU to get 10% off your entire order. Or if you have not been with us over the last couple or so years and you want a full rundown of our social media coordinates, you can check out our official home on the entire internet, CommanderCookout.com. Spotify. Yeah, we're on there now, and I just haven't mentioned it. We're everywhere. We're everywhere, including Podomatic, which is our original home, and where you can go to get yourself entered into this ARC's super cool draw of a cat deck.
Feline Ferocity.
That's the one.
I think they should have called it Ferocity, like F-U-R.
Oh, they missed the boat.
They missed the dad joke.
Oh, terrible.
Anyways, how do we win it?
You win it by going to Podomatic, or how does it go? Podomatic.com/Commander Cookout?
Yeah, if you just go like Podomatic Commander Cookout, it'll come up.
It will come up. We're in the top 6?
Dude, we hit number 6.
We're in the top 6 on the entire site, and we're pushing for number 1. That's why if you go there, request more, follow us,
leave a comment,
like our episodes, you will be entered to win our giveaway of the month. If you help us keep kind of climbing through the arc, we're going to take down some religious podcasts and a news podcast.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think the actual button on Podomatic is now called I Want More.
Yeah.
Sure. Way back, maybe this is a teaser to EP 100 where we talk about some of our favorite memories. Way back in the day when we first started Commander Cookout Podcast, we wanted the email CCOPodcast@gmail.com. It's shorter, it's easy, it's clean, everything, whatever. Taken. So I'm like, what the hell? I Google CCO Podcast, Christian Coalition Outreach Podcast.
What the heck?
And they have been plaguing us the whole time. So much so now that we're trying to take over Podomatic, be the number 1 podcast. I go back and say, well, who's above us? Who's 1 through 5 if we're number 6? All of them were religious-based podcasts. It's like the church won't let go of their grip on like the podcast monopoly. We're trying to take it.
And we're going to get it.
It's like the 1300s. Dude, it's like we can't get ahead.
Yeah, we're going to hit number 2, and then they're going to show up at our house and vanish us. They're going to brick us up in the wall of the cathedral like in Pit and the Pendulum.
Yeah. You know what we did surpass on Podomatic, though? A podcast that I listened to was called History of the Crusades. Just FYI, we passed them. Yeah.
Hooray.
Anyways.
How else can they win stuff?
You can also win Feline Ferocity. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can subscribe to us. You can like our videos or hit the bell to stay notified. You can do that. But the subscription is specifically how you win, or a comment on any of our 2019 videos.
Yes.
Yes, you could do the thing that Brando says.
Smash the like button!
Jesus.
I got really excited. I'm sorry. It's early. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here.
But a comment or a subscription will do just fine.
I guess.
Speaking of 2019, this being the first arc and the build up to Ravnica, our Ravnica videos are, one of them's out at this time. The other one will be out on this upcoming Friday. I was going through my box and found some of the cards we discussed in our Ravnica videos on YouTube.
Ooh.
And those are going to turn into our patron sign-up gifts this month.
Oh, so we decided what we're going to do.
Well, yeah, last month we had the Christmas altars, and they were fun, they were cute, but I think people liked them, and they like getting gifts, of course, for free. So that's what we're going to do again. This time, fireworks and those funny 2019 glasses or bottles of champagne or whatever else is kind of New Year's themey. If you like funny little altars like that and you want to sign up to be a patron, you can go to patreon.com/CCO Podcast.
Neat.
Last thing I wanted to mention, because we're dragging it out a little bit, but last thing, Facebook altars or Facebook auctions of the altered magic cards that I do specifically.
Yes.
Huge thank you to anybody who has bid in the past or continuously bids. I don't know if it's common knowledge in CCO Nation, but altering magic cards is sort of how I've been making my living over the last, probably since July or August. And huge shout out to anybody who, again, bids continuously. It helps out tremendously. The auctions are how I make a portion of my income from week to week. So thank you for that. And if you haven't checked it out, every Thursday we throw up our altar auctions and they go to the highest bidder. So check it out.
Yes, they're very cool. And they're one-of-a-kind things. They're not easy to come by.
That's it, right? And if you're ever interested in commissioning anything after you like the auctions, by all means, just hit us up on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you want to get in touch with us. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Now, shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
Here's the thing. We kind of missed a shout-out from before Christmas.
Oh, no.
So we're making up for it.
Okay.
Shout-out to, and sorry, David Tomlin. Funny nickname?
David Topskin.
That sounds like Tomlin.
No, well, I couldn't rhyme Tom with 4.
Wait a second.
So what I had to do is...
Wait.
What?
David. This is what I thought.
Okay.
Maybe he's David Tomlin, brother to Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. And he's like another pseudo-celebrity patron.
Or maybe we call him David Topskin because Tom doesn't rhyme with 4.
David, you be the judge. I'm just going to leave it at that.
David, Tom doesn't rhyme with foreskin.
You said it. Damn it. I was trying to make you not say it. Moving on?
Moving on.
Should we do a deck?
Nah, let's not do a deck yet because I'm really excited about something, and I think it leads into another thing that we're supposed to talk about. Full set for New Ravnica was released just a couple of days ago.
Ooh, yeah.
And there are some cards in that list that I am 100% buying and testing out in the deck that I'm going to take to GP Calgary this year.
Ooh, yes. Ravnica Allegiance, not New Ravnica.
Well, I guess it's return to Ravnica.
Sure.
I think that's I think I upped it by 1 there to make sure.
Excellent. Yeah, we are testing and tuning. Of course, you have you mentioned a couple cards when we were walking into the station today that are going in Norn the Wary.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, and we're actually playing a couple Ravnica Allegiance cards in our list today.
We are.
Set review drops tomorrow.
Correct.
So you're listening to this on Tuesday. Check back on Wednesday. Get this content lineup from your boys at Commander Cookout. Listening to this on Tuesday. Ravnica Allegiance set review on Wednesday. Altar auctions on our Facebook page on Thursday. YouTube video outlining Return to Ravnica set mechanics on Friday.
Holy shit.
Dang.
We are everywhere.
Except Mondays.
Yeah, Mondays. F Mondays, man. I'm watching wrestling. I got nothing else to do. I'm doing nothing else.
Yeah. So I guess look forward to that and look forward to GP Calgary. We're building decks.
Yeah. Oh, we're the worst.
Now should we do a list?
Yes.
What do we start with?
We always start with creatures. We always go in alphabetical order, so let's not change what works.
Sure.
Okay, now, before we get into the creatures, Experiment Kraj, as anybody who's ever seen him physically in real life or ever really delved into what he's all about, knows that he is essentially a combo house card. He's just like a necrotic ooze that can be your general that isn't black.
Yeah, a necrotic ooze that can be your commander.
It's terrible. And I tried to stay away from as many of that just infinite combo douchebaggery as I could, and I actually took the build philosophy of one of our earliest decks, which might be a teaser for our next arc, when I built this one, and I turned it into how much of your shit can I play so that I can beat you with it.
With some spicy nuggets thrown in.
Yes. I mean, of course, there's some combo douchebaggery in there, because that's who I am now. What's the word for somebody that combos all the time? There's a word for that.
The combo player.
Is it a Johnny?
A Johnny, yes.
A Johnny?
A
Johnny.
A John E. Like not a Johnny, not the Planeswalker. A person named Johnny.
Oh yeah, Johnny Combo.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, now that makes sense. I always thought there was just a guy named John that was really good at comboing, and he got his own card, or she got her own card. However that word. Oh, you learn something new every day. Every time you listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, you learn something.
No, just you.
Excellent.
Creech.
Starting with Avid Reclaimer.
Avid Reclaimer. Let's call it crappier mana dork than any other mana dork that costs 1 or 2.
Because it costs 3.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so 3 mana, 2/2, human druid, taps for a green or blue, and whenever you do that, if you control a Nissa Planeswalker, you gain 2 life. Sure.
How about Bloom Tender?
Oh, how about Budget Blower?
Yeah, I had no idea. When I added this to the list, I had no idea.
Yeah. Fine in a 2-color deck, so it's a 2-mana Elf Druid 1/1. Tap to get a mana of each color of permanence you control. So if you got Kraj out, it'll tap for green and blue.
There could be more colors involved. You could get more mana hypothetically out of a Bloom Tender, but that's what she's there for, is blue-green. She's part of some of the...
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's part of some of the dirtbag stuff that the deck does.
You could get up to 5 mana with Bloom Tender with a couple cards we're going to talk about in a couple minutes.
But let's go to a new card, Combine Guildmage.
Yeah, this is Ravnica Allegiance. So I'm gonna read it verbatim. Okay, so we got a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard for blue-green. And it got green 1, tap. This turn, creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And that does mean if it enters with no +1/+1 counters on it, it does enter with 1.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be entering with 1 to get an additional 1.
Also correct.
As people thought when that ability was first kind of came out. Whatever. Okay, Other ability. Blue 1, tap. Move a +1/+1 counter from target creature you control onto another target creature you control. It's just +1/+1 shenaniganery.
It's all day long.
Yeah. And if you've got Kraj and you activate that first green ability, your stuff just enters the battlefield with +1s. So Kraj gets their abilities.
Yeah.
That gives like whatever you're casting kind of pseudo haste.
Sort of, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, how about Cytoplast Manipulator?
We talk about this guy on our YouTube video, don't we?
We do.
Blue 2 for a 0/0 enters battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters. That's graphed 2. And when something else enters the battlefield, you can put one of those +1s onto it.
Correct.
So you make Cytoplast Manipulator a 1/1, and you're probably going to put the +1 on something your opponents play.
Because?
Sounds terrible, but you can go blue and tap it to gain control of a creature with a +1/+1 counter on it.
For as long as Cytoplast Manipulator remains in play.
Yeah, not as long as it remains tapped, as long as it remains on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So if something else just happens to get a +1/+1 counter, I don't know, from your Combine Guildmage or from Kraj or whatever, you can just steal it.
Yep.
Cool.
Very neat. How about a Devoted Druid?
Whoa. Something tells me something about combo with this card.
No.
Okay, so it's a 0/2 for 2. Tap it to get a green, and you can put a -1 counter on it to untap it. Now, for any newer members of CCO Nation, if you have a +1 counter and a -1 counter on the same creature, you don't have one of each. They cancel each other out.
Let's keep going with Elvish Aberration.
Ooh, he's a 4/5 for 6. Okay. Got Forest Cycling. You could pay 2 to discard it and search for a forest, put it into your hand. Okay. But he also taps for green.
Ha!
Ooh, yeah.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, so you put a +1/+1 counter on him, then Kraj can untap for green.
That's right.
Or tap for green.
How about a Zuri Claw of Progress?
4-drop, 3/3. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you get an experience counter. Really? You went to experience counters?
Read the second paragraph of the card.
Sure. At the beginning of combat on your turn, it's put X +1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of experience counters you have.
Yeah.
I thought it was +1/+1 until end of turn.
No. He's very good. And
yeah, exactly. That's what he does.
I don't hate experience counters when they're not on your general, because you can interact with them then. Because you kill a Zuri, and now your however many experience counters don't mean shit. Unless you can reanimate a Zuri.
Yeah, who knows if we're doing something like that.
Yeah, and we could do it, but like even if you can, you have to work really hard for it, and eventually you won't be able to do it anymore.
That's right. You don't hate experience counters when they're yours.
How about Fathom Mage?
Ooh, I like this one. So it's got Evolve. This is a Return to Ravnica ability. Whenever a creature with greater power or toughness enters the battlefield, creature with Evolve gets +1/+1 counter. Okay, so this is a 1/1 for 4. Whenever it gets a +1/+1 counter on it, you draw a card.
And that includes with Kraj.
Yeah.
So you tap Kraj, put a counter on her, draw a card. That includes a Zuri if he has 4 experience counters. I think you put 4 experience counters or 4 +1s on it. Did you draw 4 or just 1?
Whenever a +1 counter is placed. So it would trigger for each +1. You draw 4. And it's a May ability, so you can draw up to 4.
Yeah.
That is if we ever decided that we did want to be that guy and go infinite, and somebody's like, okay, you have to draw your deck. Well, then we may draw our deck.
Yeah, I'll just draw until I have all the shit that I
Who
want.
knows if we're going to do that, though.
Yeah. Speaking of putting +1s on things, how about Gilder Baron?
Ooh. Simic Hybrid, and 1 for an Oaf 1/3. What the hell? Stupid rap or stupid Lorman block. Anyways, he's got Simic hybrid, and 2, and you untap him.
Ooh.
For each counter on target permanent, put another of those counters on that permanent. Now remember, this is an untap.
Untap.
Yeah, so I don't know if you had 3 mana and then you untapped with that 3 mana to tap and untap again. Okay, well, something's going on here, and I think I like it.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. All right, so we had a creature with Evolve. We have another creature with Evolve. How about Gyre Sage?
1/2 for 2, Evolve. You can tap it for a green for each +1 on it. So as soon as you have something with 2 power or 3 toughness enter the battlefield, you can tap this for 1 green.
Yes.
And then whenever anything bigger than that comes into play, you can get another counter on it to tap it for more greens.
You can use Kraj to make him into a giant mana battery. It's awesome. And then once he's got +1s on him, you can put counters on Kraj, and Kraj becomes a massive mana battery. What can you do with that mana? Maybe you could, well, I guess not with this mana, but with mana, you can use a Horseshoe Crab.
Ooh. 1/3 for 3. It's got blue, and you untap Horseshoe Crab.
Again, anybody who's played Experiment Kraj knows why he's in there. He's there because you put the counter on Kraj, then you untap Kraj.
You put the counter on Horseshoe Crab, and then you untap Kraj.
Yeah, with a blue.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for.
With blue, though, so we haven't encountered anything that gives us enough blue to both untap Kraj and net mana, right?
Yes.
Like, we haven't done that yet.
Bloom Tender.
Well, Bloom Tender only gives us 2.
Well, we still net a green every time.
We can only do it once, though, right?
Well, you tap Kraj for blue-green, use the blue to untap Kraj, tap Kraj for blue-green, untap Kraj.
Dang.
Infinite green.
I thought we had to go 3 cards with the Gyre Sage or the Elvish Aberration and the Gilder Baron.
See, new deck philosophy for Brando. Even when you're building something fun and kind of janky like this, sometimes you just need to win the game. And so I did build in some stuff where it's just, okay, this game sucks, I'm going to win now. And it just happens. And it's incumbent on you as the player to just not be a piece of shit. Like, yeah, it's right there for you. Yeah, you could do it. But just because you can do something, it doesn't mean you should. You
got to have ways to end the game.
Yeah,
you just have to.
You have to be able to win. Sometimes people are just creaming you, or they're being jerks, or they're pillow forting, and you just, God damn it, I want this game to end. And
yeah, you know what I like. The guys over on CMDR Central are big time proponents of you have to have ways to win the game. You just have to. Just like you have to pack answers, right? You have to have ways to remove a creature. You have to have ways to full stop. Whatever it is, counter that Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that I think is a necessary evil, and like you said, you kind of have to use your own discretion.
All right, so here's a card from, again, the new set. I think this card is going to be big time, and we'll talk about it a little bit after Ryan reads it, and it's Incubation Druid.
Yeah, you know what? I was waiting and waiting and waiting for Animar to get some kind of spicy new little +1 thing from the Simic Guild, and I thought that this was going to be it. It's the 2-drop, it's rare, it gives you mana, and then it's just not good enough for like a tier 1 competitive deck. Shit. Okay, so Incubation Druid is a elf druid for 0/2, green 1. You tap it to add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. Okay. If Incubation Druid has a +1 counter on him, you add 3 mana of that type.
Ooh.
Just wait, there's more. He's got Adapt 3. So Adapt is kind of like monstrous.
Adapt is the worst.
So Adapt, you pay the cost. This guy's cost is green 3, and it's Adapt 3. So when you pay the cost, if he doesn't have any +1 counters on him, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on him. So he becomes a 3/4 and taps for 4. So for 3, sorry. Sweet.
Next up, we've got a Naxaw Click.
Naxaw Click. I wish it was called Hacksaw Click.
Well, he does have a hacksaw.
He kind of does. He's a 1/4 flyer for 4. Fairy Rogue for blue 1. Untap. Target opponent removes the top card of his or her library from the game. Till end of turn, you may play that card. So your mana of any type guy, hey?
Yeah.
Just in case. Okay, so you could just untap him lots and lots of times if he's got a +1, and like Kraj can like tap and untap.
Yep.
Tap Kraj for 2, then you untap him and mill somebody.
Yeah. Remove the library from the game. It's sometimes you just have to win the game. We talked about that already. Let's talk about getting +1s onto creatures. How about Master Biomancer?
Ooh. A 2/4 for 4. Each creature you control enters battlefield with a number of +1 counters on it equal to Master Biomancer's power.
I think somebody
just make him big, right?
Yeah, you can make him big.
Start
with
dropping
Kraj
your dudes.
Yeah, he just makes your guys into beaters, which is cool.
Is there any like token producers in this list that you can like just make lots of tokens so they always enter and just like trigger off a Master Biomancer, then you just kill everybody? That seems very Brando.
I don't think I did it though, because I think it was too Brando.
Oh, too Brando.
Yeah, it was a little bit too much.
Too Brando?
I don't want all of my decks to be go wide aggro decks, Ryan.
Well, CCO Nation actually loves Brando. That's like, but let's pull back the curtain a little bit. Okay, I think Brando is CCO Nation's favorite. Like, F you guys.
Thanks, guys.
All hail Brando comments on YouTube. Yeah, F you guys.
I appreciate it. I'm humbled by the praise. All right, we're talking about untapping giant beaters. How about Mercfiend Leash?
Ooh, Simic hybrid 2 for a 4/4. So 4/4 for 5. Other green and other blue creatures, separate paragraphs, both get +1/+1s. So your green-blue guys get +2/+2.
Yeah.
Okay. Untap all creatures, all blue and green creatures you control during each other player's untap step.
It's pretty good.
So if you're not going infinite and you have like tap and untap shenanigans, like Kraj, whatever,
Yeah.
just put +1/+1
Like
counters on everything, right?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a utility card. It gives your guys sort of vigilance, and it gives you kind of a value if you have guys that just tap, do a thing, but you can't untap them all and abuse it. Then you just untap them and tap them again on your opponent's turn. It slows you down a little bit, but it's cool.
Well, with Kraj and your Cytoplast Manipulator, that's like for every player who takes a turn, steal a guy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Also, if you have a Mercfiend Legion, a Master Biomancer, all your guys come in with +4/+4.
Whoa.
Ha! All right, speaking of guys with counters, Novingian Sages.
Ooh, we talked about this guy in our video as well. So enters the battlefield, graft 4, so he's a 4/4 for 6. You can move counters to other guys when they enter the battlefield, or you can pay 1 and remove 2 counters from thing, draw a card.
From among creatures you control. It doesn't have to be 2 from the same guy.
Ooh, so you can go 1 from him, draw a card.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
So another probably way to draw your whole deck, right? Just make a whole bunch of mana and put a ton of counters on something with Kraj and then just take them all off to draw your deck.
Yeah. No, I just like this guy. I just like this card. Omnibian.
Omnibian?
Yes.
Omnibian. He's like the Omni amphibian. That's the play, right?
Yeah, he's Boss Frog.
Boss Frog. Okay. Blue, green, 1 for a 3/3. Frog, tap, target creature becomes a 3/3 frog until end of turn. I wish he made a 2/2 because he would be the boss frog because that frog's only a 2/2 and he's a 3/3.
Then he's the boss of it, yeah.
Yeah, bad design, Wizards. I thought you did something good with boss ass frog, but then he's just like middle management frog.
Oh, I like that. How about Pilipala?
Pilipala is another untapper, so he's a 1/1 flyer for 2. He flies. We don't know what this art is, but we're going with it.
Yeah, it's weird.
2, untap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So another way to make lots of mana.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's your infinite colored mana of any color you want.
Ooh, yep. Infinite color. That's how you get your infinite blue.
Yeah, you Bloom Tender for 2, untap for a blue. Whatever color you want, tap for infinite mana.
Yeah, you know what? People always forget that you can make infinite mana of 1 color and then use infinite mana to make another color infinitely.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to do it all at once. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right, next up we have Plaxcaster Frogling.
Yeah, we talked about this guy too. So he's the unlaserable frog. He's graft 3. And he's a 3-drop, so he comes into play with 3 +1/+1s. You can move something, right? And then you can pay 2. Target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains Shroud until end of turn.
Protects Kraj all day long.
Yeah, protects anything.
Yeah. It protects basically anything on your side of the board forever.
Yeah, once you have untap infinitely and you just put a +1 on everything you control, and then you make a whole ton of mana, and anybody tries to do anything, you can give it Shroud, and if they try and do something in response, you can respond again and give it Shroud again.
Yeah.
Infinitely.
Dope.
We are pieces of crap.
Yeah, well, we are playing Experiment Kraj.
Sure.
Okay, let's keep her going with Renegade Crossus.
That is another evolver. When it evolves, put a +1 on each other creature with a +1 on it. So it gets bigger, then it makes everything else bigger.
Yes.
Cool. How many counters do you get out of that? Like, it's a 3/2 for 3. So you have to have like a 4x or an x3. How many counters do you get out of it? I guess Kraj will trigger it a couple times.
Yeah, Kraj will trigger it 3 times if you have to cast Kraj 3 times. The other creature package that we're going to talk about in a minute could technically trigger it a bunch of times.
At a discounted rate, maybe.
Yeah.
If it's late game.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you could get some counters out of them.
Okay. And you get a ton of counters if you have other things with counters.
Yes.
Right? Like if you have 4 other dudes with counters and then you cast him and then something.
If you play that Master Biomancer and then all your dudes are coming in with counters on them already, or your Combine Guild Mage, already things have counters on them, so it's only going to take a couple of times for Renegade Crosses to give you some value.
Now, the thing about Renegade Crosses that you just have to be weary of, we're going to talk about this in strengths and weaknesses, but it explicitly says whenever Renegade Crosses evolves.
Not gets a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, so you do have to trigger his evolve ability.
Yeah. Okay, next up we got Silvermere.
Taps for a mana.
Whisperer of the Wilds.
Taps for a mana. It's a 0/2 for 2 taps for a mana, just like Silvermere. This one's got Ferocious. You can add green to your mana pool if you have a creature with power 4 or greater.
There are lots of them.
Yeah, so I guess, sure.
Wickerbow Elder.
Enters battlefield with a -1 counter on it. It's a 4/4 for 4. So really it's a 3/3 for 4.
Yes.
Okay, still triggers your Renegade Crosses. Okay. You pay green and remove a counter from it. Destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Last one before we start hitting the real dirtbag shit, we have a Zamek Guild Mage.
Yeah. Green-blue, 2/2, Elf Wizard. Pay green-blue. This turn, each creature you control enters battlefield with an additional +1 on it. Cool. Green-blue, remove a +1 from a creature. Draw a card.
And there's no tap on there, so you could draw lots of cards if you have lots of counters, or you could go green-blue a bunch of times and your dude's coming with a bunch of counters.
Yeah, I actually think that that's another way to potentially draw your deck.
Okay, now let's tackle the elephant in the room and do the clone package.
Clone package. Okay, so before we do, I'm going to preface the clone package with, if the clone enters the battlefield as a copy of the cloned creature, does it have that creature's converted mana cost so you can get colored mana from Bloom Tender?
The cloned creature does have the color of whatever it's cloning. If you clone a goblin, it's red.
And Bloom Tender taps for a color for each among the permanents you control.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it doesn't care about converted mana cost, it cares about what color the creature is.
Yes.
Or the permanent is.
And 4 clones we are playing: Altered Ego, Clever Impersonator, Clone, Gigantoplasm, Phyrexian Metamorph, Sakashima the Imposter, Sakashima's Student, Vesuvan Doppelganger, Vesuvan Shapeshifter, and Vizier of Many Faces. And Progenitor Mimic.
Sweet.
They're all clones. They all have sort of different abilities and stuff, but for the intents and purposes of this deck, they're clones.
So for these clones, you can clone things that you want to give you extra mana or things that are going to trigger your evolve. Like I got a 5/5 and you got a 4/4 with evolve, and you trigger your evolve guy by cloning my 5/5.
Yeah.
Even though, maybe whatever.
Or you just play something better than what I'm playing. I got a bunch of dorks and combo enabler stuff. Maybe I want to beat you to death with your own Ulamog, so I'll make one.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about clones again in the strength and weakness section. What I'm worried about thus far is we don't really have an infinite mana outlet. Sure, we talked about drawing our whole deck. Do we have haste enablers? Do we have win the game stapled to something? What do we got?
Well, aside from the just here's some combos.
And here's some infinite counters on my guys.
Yep.
So next turn I can win, right?
Yep, we also have Kamal Fist of Karosa.
Kamal the Fister.
Yeah, we're playing him again. I know that we played him fairly recently, but, why wouldn't we play him again in a deck where we can animate our opponent's lands, put a +1/+1 counter on them, and then steal the land, and then use the possibly unlimited mana that we're probably going to make to overrun all the times we want and win the game.
Yeah, so we make infinite mana and then we activate Kamal. I'll give him a read here. He's a 4/3 for 6. You pay a green. Target land becomes a 1/1 creature until end of turn. It's still a land, but it is a creature.
Correct.
Okay. Other ability. Green, 2. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. Worst case scenario, you use your creatures to give you mana to make all your lands into creatures. Then you just make your infinite Kraj mana and overrun your lands because they don't have summoning sickness like anything that you played just this turn.
See, now we're doing Brando stuff.
And then you just overrun for 500 with your lands.
I don't need tokens. I have my lands.
Very excellent.
And I have some of your lands, probably.
Okay, you have actually one other, I'm going to call it infinite mana out, when you infinite mana and draw your whole deck. And that is, shout out to Commander's Brew, Bio Visionary. And you say, okay, Biovisionary, if you control 4 of him at the beginning of your end step, you win the game. How is that an infinite mana outlet?
Now, you're not going to clone them, right?
You got to draw your deck and then like play a bunch of clones. Or what if you don't draw your whole deck? What if you just have infinite mana? This is how we do it. What's the card, Brando?
Spitting Image.
Spitting gold dang image. Okay, so Simic Hybrid 4. For a sorcery, create a token that's a copy of target creature. And it's got Retrace. Retrace, if you're familiar with Guilds of Ravnica Jumpstart, it's kind of like that, where you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land card and paying its other costs. So you pay 6, discard a land, pay 6, discard a land, pay 6, discard a land.
And it doesn't remove it from the game like any of that flashback bullshit.
Yeah, so you can just cast this thing for 6, 6, 6.
Win the game.
Win the game. Yeah. Discard 3 lands, pay 18, move to end step.
Yeah.
Win.
There you go. So good. So that's the creature suite. That took a long time. Again, because Kraj is something that interacts with your creatures to a ridiculous degree. That's why that took a little longer. The rest of the deck should be fairly quick.
That's right. So just again, for brevity's sake, we've got only 4 card draw spells in this deck. Like, the thing is we can use any of those 4 card draw spells to just draw our whole deck. So we kind of make up for it. Or they're repeatable card draw effects just for doing what we're doing anyways.
No Vengeance Sages, Fathom Mage.
Yeah, they're going to draw us multiple cards over multiple turns. So having less card draw spells is kind of okay.
Yes.
Sure. Not a ton of removal, but I don't know, like, we can still do the old faithful CCO staple trick of Wrath of God, Kamal all your lands, idiot, right? We can still do that. And then we've got 15 mana dorks and clones.
Yes, all right. Now, normally we go to instants. We don't have any in this deck.
No.
Not a single one.
What kind of green, blue, terrible mage are you? This is the, what in the actual? Are you stupid?
No instants.
Let's see what we got here.
I built some casual fun with some dirtily dirtbag combo in there. So, you know. Yeah.
DDC podcast. Dirtily dirtbag combo.
We'll do a big bunch of them all at the same time. Elven Cache, Nature's Spiral, Recollect, and Regrowth.
All of those, for some amount of mana, get you something back from your graveyard.
Then we already talked about Spitting Image. We have Unexpected Results.
Oh, yeah, this is one of the ones I found that, I don't know, maybe that guy in that tank's going to get some funny 2019 sunglasses. I don't know. It's 4 mana, green, blue, 2. Shuffle your library. Then reveal the top card. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Okay. If it's a land card, put it into the battlefield and return unexpected results to your hand.
So it's a ramp card or a really, really ramp card.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool card, hey? Like, they had to cost it high enough that you're not getting a super discount if you, like, just reveal a 2-drop.
But if you make infinite mana,
you can just continue to
just keep doing it. Not forever, but you're guaranteed a bunch of land and a thing or a thing. All right, and lastly for the sorceries, we have the one tutor for the deck, and what a tutor.
Oh, baby.
In Tooth and Nail.
Yeah, Tooth and Nail. Kind of fallen out of favor of late in Commander, right? Because it costs so dang much mana. Like, people are far more apt to just, like, play a Worldly Tutor or something. This is a sorcery, green, 5, and it's got Entwine for 2. So it's got 2 modes on it. If you pay the Entwine cost, it's kind of like Kicker. You can do both modes. Otherwise, you choose one, and here are your options. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. Other option, put 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Entwine, you pay 9, you get 2 things from your deck into play.
Yeah, so that's where you can either just find a couple of dudes, or if you really need to win the game, you just Tooth and Nail. You get Bloom, Tender, Naxog, Click, remove everybody's library from the game, I win. Or you play any of the ridiculous, depending on what your board state is, you play any of the Kraj combos that are in this deck that we've kind of talked about already. You draw your whole deck, you make infinite mana, you remove everything, you make your guys infinite big, whatever. All of them are 2 creature combos with Kraj.
Yeah, very excellent.
So Tooth and Nail is basically cast it and win the game. It's your out button. It's your...
It really is, regardless of where it is, cast it and win the game.
Yeah.
What did I get last time? Ask me what I got. Ask me.
What did you get last time you played Tooth and Nail?
Avacyn and Iona.
Scumbag.
Against 2 black players. Super awesome.
Shit. All right, let's do some enchantments next. Burgeoning.
Whenever somebody else plays a land, you can play a land.
That's stealing their land drop. It's on the I'm doing what you're doing theme that Kraj kind of has built into it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like burgeoning on turn 1 because you go burgeoning on turn 1, then you untap on your turn, probably. If you kept like a good burgeoning hand, you untap with like 3 or 4 mana.
Yeah, I would never say that burgeoning is better than exploration because I don't think it is.
It's hit and miss, right?
But in some decks, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, control deck, burgeoning, like whatever. You cast burgeoning as like the second last spell in your hand, and then you cast something that's like refill my hand or draw 5 or whatever, right? Then you say go, and it's like turn 6, and you just go like land. Like if 2 guys on turn 6 both drop a land drop, you're untapping with more lands. So, I mean, burgeoning's still good.
Or if it's on turn 1 and you get back to you and you got 4 land now.
Yeah, that's best case scenario for sure.
All right, then we have copy enchantment. It copies an enchantment. It might copy a doubling season.
Oh, baby.
You knew this was coming.
Yeah, okay, so if an effect would create 1 or more tokens, it creates double. If an effect would create 1 or more counters, it creates double.
Yeah, so it makes
doubles whatever.
It makes Kraj twice as good. It makes Graft twice as big. It makes your Planeswalkers come into play with twice as many counters on them.
Yeah, and then when you move a counter from Graft, like your 2/2 Graft is now a 4/4 Graft, and when you move a counter from your Graft onto something else, you're actually putting 2 counters on that other thing.
We've got Estrid's Invocation. You can copy an enchantment or blink Estrid's Invocation to copy a different enchantment if you want. Then we have Hadana's Climb.
This is a flippy dippy, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, so green, blue, 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Then, if that creature has 3 or more +1 counters on it, transform Hadana's Climb.
And it transforms into Winged Temple of Orazka. It taps and 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, or green, blue, 1 tap. Target creature you control gains flying and gets +X until end of turn, where X is its power.
I don't think we care so much about the backside. We care about just getting a +1 counter on something, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it could turn into that late game, like, you just need to win. Maybe you got it. Maybe you're on the Kraj beatdown strategy. Who knows?
Yeah, that is a thing.
Here's a fun include, March of the Machines.
I love this card. Every time it makes it into one of our lists, I smile because I love this card. So it's blue 3. Each non-creature artifact is an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. So that's each non-creature artifact, so not just ours.
Yep.
So that makes other people's artifacts into creatures, and somebody can cast a sweeper.
Yep.
Cool. It allows combos with Kraj, I assume, because we're playing Mana Rocks.
That's right.
We just put +1/+1 counter on our Soul Ring, and then all of a sudden Kraj taps for
2
colorless.
Yeah.
Cool. It always does cool stuff.
Yeah, like if they have a Caged Sun and you want it, you can March of the Machines, put a counter on their Caged Sun dude, and then clone it.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. This card always does broken stuff, is what I should have said.
Oh, yeah.
But also, it does weird stuff that is just cool, like you said. Put a counter on their Caged Sun or their Immortal Sun, and then clone it or steal it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
It's neat. Not as neat, but it's got a fish on it in Mystic Remora.
Cumulative upkeep 1. It's a 1-drop enchantment, so it's going to cost you every turn. But whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, they pay 4 or you draw a card.
And let me tell you, this is my favorite turn 1 spell.
Yeah, that's definitely a good-ass turn 1.
It's the best.
Yep.
Last enchantment, Rites of Flourishing.
That's a good political one, and it's green and 2. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, and each player may play an additional land each turn. So if you copied that, you could draw 2 extra and play 2 extra land.
Yeah.
Super good with your burgeoning, right?
Yeah, I like this card. I think it's fun. You know what? This is a card that's fun. I put a bunch of dirtbag combo stuff in this deck, and then I put in a card that I think is just fun.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're playing I'm playing the political thing, right? You're taking advantage of it the most because you're the combo dirtbag that's like getting to draw 2 cards. Got it.
Okay, let's do artifacts. We've got Dragon Throne of Tarkir.
Ooh, is this the first time we've ever played this?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. I don't know. We've done almost like 100 lists. Equipped creature has Defender. Okay. And 2, tap. Other creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is that creature's power.
They also get Trample.
Ooh, okay. Equips for 3, cast it for 4. Your creatures get Trample and maybe like, I don't know, how big do they get?
Well,
they could get infinite, but
they could get infinitely big.
It's not Christmas anymore.
Or if you were to put it on, just say a Master Biomancer that's made some of your dudes bigger, your Renegade Crossus is just pretty big, you could put the Dragon Throne on him, or you could put it on Kraj and just use it with Kraj. Everything gets +4/+4. Untap Kraj, do it again. Everything gets +8/+8. And that's not hard to do. That would cost you maybe 5.
You know what? I really like the card. I've just never found an opportunity to use it because it's so mana intensive. You got to spend 9 before it does anything.
Yeah. And if you equip it to another creature in the meantime while you don't have Kraj, and then you play Kraj, you could tap Kraj, put a +1/+1 counter on the creature equipped with Dragon Throne, and now Kraj can do the thing.
Yes, because the equipped creature has. Very cool. I like that, actually.
Exact same thought process went into playing Paradise Mantle.
0-drop equipment equips for 1. Equipped creature has. Tap to add a mana of any color to your mana pool.
It turns any color or any dude you have into a Bird of Paradise, in which case it will have a +1/+1 counter on it, and then your Kraj is also a Bird of Paradise. Very neat. You have a Kefnet's Monument.
Legendary artifact for 3. Blue creatures you cast cost 1 less to cast, so that's going to help us. Cool. Whenever you cast a creature spell, not blue, but creature, target creature an opponent controls doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. I like the card, but it seems like it just doesn't fit in this deck. Like, why?
Clones cost 4, and Kraj is going to die a bunch of times, and he costs 6 to start, so it just brings that cost down, and it gets some blockers out of the way, / stops some of their activated abilities if they have some. So there's...
Yeah, so this on 3, then maybe clone on 4, and then you've got like a clone and a thing, and your opponent has a tap dude.
Yeah.
It's going to buy you some time.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing to remember about Kefnet's Monument is it doesn't tap the creature. It has to be... like
it has to be tapped over.
It has to be tapped for this to do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be careful with that, kids.
And then for rocks and stuff, we got Sol Ring, Thran Dynamo, Emerald Medallion, Sapphire Medallion. Makes things cost less or taps for mana. There you go. Hey, lots of intricacies, lots of stuff going on, but we've got one more section left to do. Planeswalkers.
Yes, very much so. And we are playing doubling season, so I think it's worth it to mention the ultimates that are any good. Start us off.
Okay, so we got Freyalise, Lanoir's Fury.
Okay, her +2, 3 loyalty, 5 mana. Her +2, you get a mana dork, a 1/1 Llanowar elf.
Yeah, you get a Llanowar elf, yeah.
-2, destroy an artifact or enchantment. -6. So with doubling season, you could just pop her off right away. Draw a card for each green creature you control. 5 mana, doubling season, and then you just like draw 4, 5, 6 cards?
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's not too bad.
Okay.
Nissa, Steward of Elements is next.
So this is one of our Nissas that gains us a life with that mana dork.
Yep.
Okay. Green, blue, X. Enters battlefield with X loyalties. +2, scry 2. Her 0 ability is look at the top something cards of your library and you can get a creature.
If it's a land or a creature with converted mana cost equal to or less than her loyalty, it goes into play.
Ooh, hey, that's okay. It goes into play.
Yeah.
Okay, and her -6 is you untap 2 things and they become 5, like 2 lands and they become 5/5s at trample or something.
Until end of turn.
That's too bad because like you could just go infinite and make her like 100 loyalty.
Yeah.
And then you -6? Oh, well, I guess I'll make 10 power.
But it gives you a land or a dude for free every turn.
You know what I want? I want Planeswalker Fling.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want Planeswalker Fling with Nissa. or if some new big bad guy comes in the next Ravnica set and like there's all these Nicol Bolas Planeswalkers or Ugin Planeswalkers that are like, 9 loyalty, or Karn like 14 loyalty. And you just Planeswalker Fling like some new big badass guy comes and makes Nicol Bolas's bitch. Bitchel Bolas, just fling. Anyways.
I like that. Another Nissa. How about Nissa, Voice of Zendikar?
3 drop, 3 loyalty. +1, you get a 0/1 blocker. Sure. Her -2, put a +1 on each creature you control. There it is.
That's the one.
Yeah. Her -7, you gain X life and draw X cards where X is the number of lands you control. Also good.
And lastly, we have Vivian Reed. I forgot this one even existed.
This one's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she is 5 loyalty, 5 drop walker. Her +1, look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you get a creature into your hand, right?
A creature or land. You can reveal it and put it into your hand and then put the rest on the bottom.
Okay, so it kind of acts as like pseudo filter drawy kind of collected company type thing.
Yeah.
Her -3, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Because she got a bow, I get it.
Yeah.
And then her -8, so doubling season, you can get it right away. You get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+2, Vig, Tramp, and Indestruct.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good emblem.
Yeah.
Very Elspeth 1.0, hey?
Yeah, it is. Who the hell is she?
Some kind planeswalker with a bow and arrow.
They just wanted to do a random planeswalkers. Like, yeah, whatever, who she is.
No, she's somebody. I don't know who she is. You know who she's not? Jace.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, good.
I like that. Notice how I didn't play any Jaces this week, Ryan?
Huh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I definitely could have.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm playing the right colors.
You know what I want? I want Nicol Bolas to fling Jace right at Gideon's head.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Like in real life.
Yes.
Oh.
I want the Rakdos to shoot him out of a cannon, like in one of their carnival things.
Just like at a wall, like at the end of Running Man, where Richard Dawson gets put in that thing and shot down the tube and he bounces around and blows up to that Coke sign. That was awesome.
Never seen it. Sorry. You watch way more bad movies than I do.
You have never seen The Running Man.
No.
The second greatest Arnold Schwarzenegger movie ever made. You have never seen The Running Man.
You know what? I do know. I know exactly the scene you're talking about because I watched on YouTube one time. It was like every single Arnold quote or swear. It was like 15 minutes of just Arnie one-liners.
Yeah.
And I saw that clip. Best compilation video on YouTube. You're allowed to search comp videos on YouTube, but not on other sites.
That's true, yeah.
Moving on. Okay, strengths and weaknesses. I'm going to just blow through this pretty quick because we're a little bit crunched for time, but get this. It's intricate and it's grindy and it's lots of fun stuff to do each turn. The flip side of that, or the devil's advocate to that, is it can be considered dirtily. You might miss stuff, or it's easy to miss stuff, and you really do have to practice this deck. Practicing isn't just for Storm combo anymore, kids.
Yeah.
This is like, you need to practice this, or else you'll be doing takesies, backsies all night, and people are going to not want to play the deck because you always do it wrong.
Yes.
Or it takes you like 10 minutes to do one turn. F you, Evan.
He actually has a deck that's kind of like this, and it does take very long. Because you're putting counters on stuff, and you have to physically put things on things.
Yeah, the physical dexterity that it takes, right?
Yeah, so be aware of that before you build or play a deck like this.
Have your tokens out and ready. Have your dice out and ready. Know what you're tutoring for. That's a big one. Not in this deck because there's only one, but that's a thing, right?
Part of the reason why I didn't put in instants and kind of during their turn interactions was so that you actually had some time to stop and think, okay, what am I going to do? My next turn's coming. What do I do? So you can actually think about it. There's no excuse in this build of this deck for you to take a long turn.
Very excellent. Okay. Combo and win out of nowhere. Need to end the game. I like that strength.
Boom.
Weakness, though. Very little early game. So you're sacrificing your early game to be able to full stop end the game immediately.
Yes, that's very me.
In this deck, I know that that's not true of all EDH decks, like because you can just spend lots of money and be able to win in the early game.
Yeah.
And then that's the last strength and weakness type thing. It is affordable in this iteration if we cut the 7 most expensive cards, but it is quite spendy to tune if you do want to win earlier. If you do want to make your critical turn move from 5 or 6 to like 3.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. The most expensive cards in the deck: Bloom Tender, $40.
Boom.
Dub Season, $37. Down from $80, but still lots. Sakashima the Imposter and Sakashima Student, $30 and $24 respectively.
Both of those. I was looking through the list on my phone after I was done building it. Like, okay, all right, I got to make sure I got all my stuff down so I know what I'm talking about. And I was looking at the prices of the cards as I was scrolling through them, and I might have been going to the washroom at the time, and I actually farted when I saw how much those cards cost. It's been a long time since the card prices shocked me like that.
Oh, no way.
Like, air escaped from my butthole because I was so surprised. It was the worst.
Butthole tribal. Yeah, they could be like stunt double, like that's the flash speed clone, and name another clone.
Yes.
And just save yourself the $60 almost.
I use Sakashima because it can come into play as Experiment Kraj 2. That's important. Plus, he bounces himself and can give Experiments Kraj bounce himself. Sakashima Student I just played because he was next to Sakashima the Imposter in my binder.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Vivian Reed, $22. This could easily be Kiora, Master of Waves. She's the one that gives you like explore, like draw a card and play an extra land.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's not too bad at all.
And like she's $4, not $22.
Yeah.
That's a thing, right? And then Yavimaya Hollow, $45.
Yeah.
That regenerates target creature on a land.
Yes.
Cool. You know what else I like? We're playing that kind of that regrowth mini package, right? I like on a land Haunted Fengraf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you sack it. You pay like 3 or 4 or whatever and sack it. to get a creature from your graveyard to your hand at random.
Not even close to as good, but if you're looking to cut some money, there you go.
You could, with enough redundancy in the deck like you have in the clone department, you could just hit your clone because that's all that's in your graveyard.
Yeah.
Or if you just crack it a little bit earlier than you wanted to, yeah, you might, I was saving this for when this died. But if you just crack it because you know that you're going to get exactly what you want, like your second best choice is the only card in your graveyard, well, then you just crack your Fengraf now to get it back.
Yeah.
And it gives it like, not pseudo-regenerate, but you have it again.
And it saves you $40.
Yeah.
Or like 200 Canadian.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
So Fengraf is actually 25 cents.
Yeah.
So you cut all those cards, you're saving $220. The original budget, $437. Cut the most 7 expensive, you're building this deck for $215, $217.
Also important to note, lots of new cards in here, and it's a binder builder because lots of it are ones that you're going to have lots of this.
Yeah, like the Evolve guys at Uncommon and like the Guild Mages and stuff.
You're going to have these, and if you don't have them, you're going to have friends that have them. There's nothing in here, I don't think, minus those really expensive ones, that are super difficult to get.
61 of the cards in the deck, including basics, less than $2. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's where most cards live, obviously, but I mean...
Well, you can get decks where there's like 20 cards under $2 and like in that 5 to 10 or that 20 to 100 range, there's like 30 cards.
Too goddamn many.
Yeah, right? Anyways, milk list?
How about instead we do card of the week?
What do you got this week?
This week I picked a card that we talked about a little bit as one of our infinite mana dumps, but a card I think that is just sort of fun and neat to play, has lots of applications in lots of different decks that could play it in Spitting Image.
Ooh, I used to play this in a deck, and not clone.deck or whatever. It was just like deck that has lots of land in it.
Yeah, sometimes you just want some stuff. So you pay Simic Hybrid 4, create a token copy of target creature, and it has retrace. You can chuck a land, do it again.
Sweet, for its mana cost. Yeah. I like late game. I think the big thing is redundancy. It gives you a repeatable effect that is good.
And I like any card, just based on the way things happen to me, where sometimes I'll have no cards in my hand and I'll just get hosed and draw land all the time. It gives me something to do with that land.
Technically, that happens to everybody. Yeah. You just focus on it more because you're pessimistic.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But it's something to do when you're top decking land. Well, what the hell am I going to do with this? I'm going to clone that because I don't need another land.
Yeah, and you know what? Cloning that like 2, 3, 4 times is pretty good usually.
Yeah.
You just pick the best thing, right?
And you can get this magical card for the low price of 31 American cents or 31 Canadian dollars, or if you got to get that pimp foil, there is a fairly high premium on this one, and it's 7 American dollars or 286 million Canadian.
Yeah, I don't have any foil copies of this one.
I don't either, actually, which makes me sad, because I'll bet it's a cool foil. It's got lots of that blue-green
stuff in it, right?
The blue-green stuff from Eventide, all of it looks cool in foil, all of it.
Oh, unless you're colorblind, then, well, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You guys...
Whatever it's Eventide, you're not missing a whole ton other than the foiling process. Milk list?
Milk list.
Okay. As per EDHREC.com, the most popular cards in every converted mana cost slot from 0 to... in this case, 16. I wonder what that's going to be. Starting at the 0 drop slot, most popular card on EDH Rec. Are we playing it? It is Everflowing Chalice.
No.
At the 1 drop slot, we do the top 3. Let's see what they are. Sol Ring, of course.
Yes.
Llanowar Elf.
Nope.
No, get this one. Rapid Hybridization.
Good card, but no.
Not playing it.
Nope.
2 drop. Simic Signet.
Nope.
Not playing it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Cultivate at 3.
Nope.
Explosive Veg at 4.
Nope.
Urban Evolution at 5.
Nope.
Prime Speaker Zagana at 6.
Nope.
Ooh, shout out to Prime Speaker Xanafar or whatever her name is that we're going to be previewing tomorrow.
Oh, hell.
Or set reviewing. She's good.
Yeah.
7. Avenge of Zendi.
Nope.
Crater Hoof at 8.
Nope.
Artisan of Kozilek at 9.
Nope.
Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Nulamog at 10.
Nope.
Temporal Trespass at 11.
Nope.
Do you have one of those yet? I still need one.
No.
CCO Nation, get at me. We'll make a trade. Enter the Infinite at 12.
Nope.
Emrakul.
Nope.
Other Emrakul.
Nope.
Draco.
No.
I need a Draco. I'm building a deck that needs Draco.
Oh my god.
Just for you, buddy. Okay, other than Sol Ring, no milkless matches.
Kaboom.
Yeah, good job.
And we don't count Sol Ring anymore in 2018 or 2019.
Very excellent.
Yeah, so
That's the first zero milk lister of the year.
ding 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 ding.
Spice calculator.
Spice
Okay.
calculator.
501 Kraj lists on EDHREC.com.
I actually thought he would be higher. Honestly, well, because he's one of those cards that you can build to do lots and lots and lots of different stuff. And I really thought that he would be higher up on the list.
He is 10th, and I think everybody that's above him is newer than him. And I think that's just a result of Wizards saying, hey, EDH is a thing, we're going to build for it. And Kraj he had lots of lists before EDH Rec had like 7 million lists.
Yeah, and I guess when you look at the ones that are above him, stuff like Tatyova, Momir Vig, Azuri, Krufix, they're Blue-Green has some pretty badass commanders.
Yeah, Edric Spymaster of Trest.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a piece of crap. Who would play him?
Yeah, what kind of asshole would build that?
Yeah. 10th, all-time Simic. 3.46 average CMC for this deck, so I think that's just fine. Critical turn, I don't know, how fast can you combo? Turn 5? 4? 5?
You gotta play Kraj. Kraj, I don't think in this deck can come out fast. Well, I guess he probably could come out on turn 5.
Turn 5 it is.
Yeah.
Turn 5, if they don't kill him, turn 6, they're dead.
Yes.
Christmas land. Let's just say like north of where we are. Not quite the North Pole, but not quite not very Christmas.
Close enough after the damn week we've had.
Holy jeeps.
It's been so cold.
Okay, one tutor in the deck. Uniqueness rating. Cards different than the average list on EDHREC.com. 37. That's pretty good.
That's not too bad.
That's pretty good. That uniqueness rating has to be pretty high to hit like a 60 or 70 spicy.
Yeah.
This week, spice rating, 56.
50 tests.
So we still passed the 50 test for the third week in a row.
We got you there.
Yeah, so I like it.
Why, thank you.
What do you think? I liked the deck over the last 2 weeks. You said you liked this one. Final thoughts of the day?
Final thoughts of the day. First of all, I encourage you all to go to Podomatic/Commander Cookout Podcast and check us out there. You can be entered to win our Feline Ferocity deck. You can also be entered to win that as well if you go to any of our YouTube videos from this year, like, share, subscribe, smash the like button, leave a comment on there, and you will be entered to win as well. As far as the deck goes, I really enjoy stuff like this where it gives you lots of opportunities to grow and expand and build, especially this one where I can grow and expand and build on all my opponent's stuff, where I can pick and choose what I want of theirs and then beat them with it. I had a deck that did that. We talked about it way early on in the life of the show. It's a part now, and I miss it a little bit, but here we have a better version of it, because now your win conditions are my win conditions, and I have win conditions. So then I think it's a cool deck. I think there's lots of room to improve. If you wanted to lower the spiciness level, include some instants maybe, you could maybe make the deck a little bit better. But I think it's fun the way that it is now, and I think it was time that we built a deck that was built to be fun and give you that variety of gameplay experience that everybody should be having at their kitchen table if you want to enjoy the game as a quasi-casual player. So that's a super long-winded version of saying I think the deck is cool. I think you should all check it out. Speaking of things that are good, we're going to be going over the cards that are good in our set review for Ravnica Allegiance coming out tomorrow, and then we're going to be back next Tuesday with another super exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!